let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
That's the signal. Go. 6. It's beautiful. Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up and let's go.
Radio show powered by our good friends at Willis Automotive. Good to have you along as we celebrate a Drake win in the NCAA Tournament. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and give this video a like. You can leave some comments. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And set up those notifications so when you know when we go live. You can follow us on X. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Instagram. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. Good morning, sir.
What's up, buddy? How was your Thursday?
My Thursday was excellent. I had a Core Power from Atlanta Coca-Cola bottling for lunch. Sat in my chair last night to watch the Drake-Missouri game. And Drake now the darling of this year's NCAA tournament. If you watch the studio shows, if you watched all that stuff, Drake is the darling right now of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, who that mentalist guy? I don't know what this guy's name is. The guy who reads everybody's mind and it's crazy. You know what I'm talking about? Did you see that thing with Barkley and Kenny Smith and all those guys when he basically he gave Kenny Smith's PIN number to his debit card on the show?
And then they were doing other things, but they went to Clark Kellogg and they said, okay, who is your bracket sleeper? Who's your bracket? He goes, okay, you went to the bottom right. And then they go, okay, what player is going to make a difference? And Clark Kellogg wrote, and the guy goes, Bennett Stirtz. And he goes, and he turned it around, it was Bennett Stirtz. I don't know how. I mean, there's a trick to it.
That guy's incredible, dude. That guy's incredible. I don't know what the trick is. I don't know how that happens. I don't know what. That guy's incredible. I've seen him a dozen times or so, and you're like, Oz the Mentalist is apparently his name.
I wonder how much that guy costs. Because you see him come into like locker rooms and he does entertainment for locker rooms and coaches and stuff and just messes with guys. I bet he got paid like several $1,000s to go on CBS.
Yeah, but it's amazing. It was really cool. Yeah, and he says, yep, Drake's going to be the Cinderella team. Sturtz is your favorite player in the tournament. And then they came back at halftime and Kenny's like, yeah, I had to change my PIN number. Fun game. Like Travis, right away from the opening tip, and I'm not sure if you want to dive right into it here.
Yeah, I think we have. No, I think we have to. I mean, at the end of the day, this was not the biggest upset of the day. I think McNeese State over Clemson was the biggest upset of the day, but there were. You look at the teams that won yesterday. For the most part, we'll go into a little bit later. You know, the higher seeds won. Except for McNeese State, and then you had Drake last night. And when you watch that game, Ross, sure, the athleticism was different, but Drake was toe-to-toe with Missouri every step of the way.
It's funny you say that because what I was going to say is from the minute that game started, I thought, I overestimated the athletic difference here. I did not see Drake being the less athletic team by margins. They weren't. I mean, once you saw the numbers, you're like, they're outsized. Once the ball hit the floor, you're like, oh no, they're not outsized. They're not losing. They're not losing in the paint back and you know what I mean. Every time down, they're not getting backed down and dunked on. They're playing the better basketball, offensively and defensively. Dude, that ball movement. It's been fun all year. Seeing it against a team like that was different. It reminded me. Remember the old Princeton teams?
Oh yeah,
that would show up and just bounce past you to death.
Yes.
Guys would be trying to throw alley-oops to each other, and Princeton would be out there like Pleasantville. Bounce pass, layup. Backdoor cut, bounce pass, layup.
The amazing thing to me was like Missouri did not seem prepared for it. And you're like, you had a week to get ready for it. And Drake is great at creating space and creating the open shot. And sure, they can go deep into the shot clock. They did several times last night. But it was like Missouri was like, well, we're going to go out and play our game, and we're going to try to dictate it. And Drake, to me, dictated every part of that game last night. Ross, if you would have told me when it started, and even the size difference, Drake out-rebounded Missouri last night, 31-26.
I'm telling you, and the athletic difference, if you could somehow be colorblind going into that game, you would not have known which team was the team that was supposed to be the more athletic team. In fact, you might have come out and watched and said Drake. Travis, we said after talking to Coach McCollum, man, it's really hard to prepare for Missouri if you're Drake. You can't replicate that type of basketball. You can't go on campus and find 5 dudes that are 6'9" and can run a 4.40, right? It ain't happening. We didn't think about the adverse. It's also impossible for Missouri, who doesn't play that style of basketball. They don't have 5 dudes on the court that know each other the way that these Drake guys do. The no-look passes, the backdoor cuts, the bounce passes through a busy lane, that stuff, as we know, doesn't just happen. That stuff comes from years of playing ball together and knowing that your guy is going to be there, or just being so well coached that you believe in that. There were a few errant passes, and there were a few times guys got themselves in trouble deep in the paint, tried to chuck it out, and a defender was in that passing lane. That happened. Drake was so much better of a team last night than Missouri, and that was obvious from the tip. And there was I didn't ever feel like I saw an athletic difference. There were moments, but never was I like, oh, here we go. This is where Drake's getting run off. Even when Missouri made that run in that second half, closed the gap, I mean, it felt like they'd even tied the game there at one point.
No, they got within 2. They got within 2.
Okay.
So Drake never trailed in the second half. They were up, 30-23, I think, at the break. Never trailed in the second half, which you kind of knew Missouri was going to go on a run. Where I got worried, Ross, and it's one of my pet peeves with high-level basketball players. Drake, they were struggling at the free throw last night. I think they shot less than 50% from the free throw line. And it was like 1 for 2 every time they went to the stripe. And you're like, if free throws end up costing this team, you look at this team that's so fundamentally sound. And I'm like, of the fundamentals of basketball, free throws are like it, right? You look at that team, you're like, oh, you all won your Knights of Columbus free throw shooting contest. Every single one of you growing up were Knights of Columbus or Elks Lodge free throw shooting champions.
I don't remember who sponsored it, but I remember doing that. I remember winning the Pleasant Hill one and then going and not making a single free throw at the next level.
But I really did. I'm like, oh, Missouri's making a run, and what's going to happen here is Drake's going to keep missing free throws, and free throws are going to cost this team. And I was getting worried, but every time they would just counter and out-rebound Missouri, then come down and just make a shot. They shot over 50% from the field, and you knew it was over, I think, on the Stirtz alley-oop dunk. He threw the alley-oop dunk, and you're like, oh, that was just the nail in the coffin right there.
He had the one, like 2 or 3 minutes before that, he had the one where the kid brought it down and then tried to go back up and got fouled.
Yep.
And I thought at that point, like, oh, that'd have been an exclamation point. That'd have been great. And then it was not very many possessions later, he had the no look. Or was it the no look that didn't get flushed? I think it was the no look that didn't get flushed. And then came back and got the one later.
515-517-2303. Let's go to John. John, welcome to the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, good morning, fellas. Big Iowa State fan. That is the first time I've seen Drake play all year. Super impressed. They reminded me a lot of, I've seen Iowa State do it a few times. I thought the biggest thing was their defensive ball pressure. Was just incredible. And from the beginning, it just threw Missouri out of sorts. And I think they just got, like, I don't know, for lack of a better word, spooked. Very uncomfortable. Just a great, great game.
John, that's a great word for it. And uncomfortable that drills down on it, man. That's what Drake did to Missouri last night. They made him uncomfortable. Great word for it.
John, can I ask you a question? Where do you live?
Ames.
So you live in Ames, and it's the first time you've watched Drake all year. And I get it. Do you wish you would have watched him more now? Were you surprised?
I definitely was surprised. Yeah, I would say so. It was fun to watch, absolutely. And like I said, it totally reminded me of, I've seen Iowa State do it, not all the time, but a lot of times with their defensive pressure, just make teams so uncomfortable that it like just throws them completely off. And then they kind of panic when they do get an open look and shoot a three or whatever. But yeah, great team. I do not want Ben McCollum to go to Iowa City.
Well, that's going to be a discussion we have a little bit later on in the show, but I will tell you that his price tag just went up last night. His price tag went up a lot last night.
No, now, I should know, but I don't. Now, who do they play?
They play Texas Tech next, which is not going to be an easy game.
As an Iowa State fan, you know that.
Yes.
I do think that Texas Tech is vulnerable, so I'm rooting for Drake.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think Drake can win that game. I don't know that anybody's going to predict them to win that game, but just like they did against Missouri, I think they can have that same sort of impact against Tech. Tech's another level on Missouri. We talked about that athleticism from Missouri and how that's going to be a step up. They haven't played a lot of teams like that. Texas Tech is an elite team in college basketball this year.
Thanks for the phone call, John.
They
Appreciate it.
definitely.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. You got one more thing? He does not. 515-517-2303. Who's this? You didn't leave your name, but we'll bring you on anyway. Who's this?
Coach Hersom.
Hey, Coach.
He was in Wichita.
You're in Wichita.
I am in Wichita. Ironically, for quote-unquote work, but I was able to snag a ticket to go to the game last night. And I'll tell you what, that was the most fun I have ever had, and intense fun, watching a team that, like, I root for Drake. I'm not a Drake fan, but I'm an Iowa State guy and never pull any punches. But that was the most fun I think I've ever had at a basketball game last night. And it was an awesome atmosphere. The stadium at the start of the game wasn't full, but then eventually the Taco Tech people filtered in, and it filled up. And you know how it is in the NCAA tournament, everybody's rooting for the underdog. And so even though Missouri had a great fan base there, the people rooting for Drake way outnumbered them.
Really?
And it was just fun.
Because what happens, Ross, we've seen it at Wells Fargo Arena. I've seen it at the CHI Center in Omaha. What happens is when you have the underdog story, the people who have no skin in the game, they turn and become fans of the underdog.
No doubt. I've been there. I've been there. I thought that Missouri would show up better than that. And I quit kind of watching. I was on Twitter, Coach, as the game was starting, and I saw Justin Miller and some of the other media members that were there posting and saying, wow, heavy contingent of Missouri fans here. I now that you're saying it, though, I do remember as that game went on that the crowd did get louder for Drake. That explains it.
Oh yeah, no, they were. It was kind of all in, and like I said, it was. I mean, it's a nice facility. I had never been before. It reminds me a lot of Wells Fargo in a way. They've got kind of suites on one side, and so the 200/300 levels don't go all the way around the facility. But no, like I said, it was a great time. Literally, my seat was right in front of where Sean Roberts was sitting, and so I had a chance to catch up with him and chat with him and stuff. So that was fun.
Got a question for you now. You're there on so-called work. Do you stick around one more day and go to the round of 32 game?
I put work in quotations too.
I'll be honest. I can't. Yeah. I'll be honest. I can't. I've got a crew in Kansas City I need to get over to today. I've got another one down in Arkansas, and I need to be in Texas Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now Monday is also so-called work. We're doing a turf inspection on a golf course, but I actually have meetings the next couple of days. So
all right,
got to see how that sixth fairway is taking those divots, Coach.
Exactly. It's important, Ross. It's really important.
It's important stuff.
Glad you enjoyed the game, Coach. Thanks for the update from Wichita. Appreciate it.
Coach. Thanks so much, buddy.
Thank you.
It would have been cool to be there. It was fun to watch it on TV, and just how level-headed that team was throughout the game. There was never a panic, even from the beginning. You're like, this team, it's not the bright lights, big city that everybody thought.
That's exactly my thought early on in the game, because I just expected it to be more of a kind of a shock athletically, and it wasn't. From the tip, I thought, wait, they're there. They're there. They're playing in this game. Maybe it'll be one of those situations where 5 minutes in, we'll start to see the legs separate. Maybe at halftime. And then they came out of halftime looking good. I'm thinking, they're going to win this basketball game. Did you hear the stat? I know when you're 30 and 31-3 on the season, you're going to have some amazing stats that come with it. Did you hear the stat about them leading at halftime?
26-1 and now 27-1 when leading at halftime. That is,
and that's a tip of the cap to a coaching staff, I think, too.
Yes,
that you adjust for the adjustments. You keep your guys ready during that timeout. You keep them focused, fired up, whatever that is.
Last night, I think it was the little things. It's the hustle plays. It's the 50-50 plays. Where the ball can go either way, and that's just poise. And Ben McCollum talked about that poise afterwards, after the victory.
I thought really all of our guys just maintained a level of poise. The thing that we didn't give up is when we did turn it over, we sprinted back. Those are the tough ones, like the ones that no one else thinks you should get, like the stops that no one thinks you should get. Those are the ones we got. And we got defensive rebounds, and that's just, the toughness of our kids.
515-517-2303. Let's go back to the phones. Tony, welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. What's going on?
Hey, I need a new bag. I broke the one I was breathing into yesterday.
Yeah, you just go to like Hy-Vee or Walgreens and get yourself just a whole thing of brown paper bags, and that'll help you get your breath back.
Best looking for them for the donors. No, I'm just very excited. McCollum, every time he does a pregame or a postgame presser, it's another standout job interview. And
yeah,
the national folks, the ones that are out there with money, are coming. So this isn't over yet. I hope some of the reports that were out there that Beth had met with his agent or had discussed things with his agent in advance of Fran's dismissal are true, but who knows? But Iowa's got to compete for another head coach now, but this guy's a winner. Got to drive bus today, guys, so I can't stay on, but thanks for taking the call.
Thanks, Tony. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tony.
Keep those kids safe, man.
Yep, drive safe,
keep those
bud.
kids safe. You mentioned, every time he does a post-game press conference, it's like an interview. And he was asked last night about the season in general and last night's game. And again, this is recency bias on our part, right? And bias that we want Drake to win. We've been following Drake for several years, but this is just a money answer that if you are an athletic director looking to hire a coach, you go, yeah, this might be our guy.
I'd be lying if I didn't say I didn't expect it. I expected it. That's what I expected. I expected exactly this. I expected them to compete. I brought winners with me. That's what I brought. And, I guess my superpower is finding winners, finding tough kids, and believing in them. And so I kind of expected this. I did. I'd be lying if I said I didn't. I know I've tried to be humble in other ones, but, man, I believe in these kids.
I like
Boom.
him.
Boom.
Dude, I like him. I like that. That's the thing that we talked about. That it's confident, pushing that line of cocky, and it comes from such a humble place. I love what he said there. I'm trying to be humble. I'm trying, but it's hard when you're this good. How did you do it, Coach? Did you think tonight, or were you surprised by tonight's outcome? No. Nope, we prepared, and this is exactly how I drew it up. I thought this was how I was going to play. What an awesome line.
Well,
I brought winners. I don't know what to tell you guys.
Have you ever watched the movie The Secret? Have you ever read the book Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich?
Yes.
This is what it is. It is manifestation of what you believe. And I know, and it's not, you just don't get to wish it. You have to put the work in.
No doubt.
But if you believe it and you put the work in, things happen.
Travis, believing it's the first step.
Yes.
It's that old line, man. Whether you think you're good or not, you're right. Whether you think you're right or wrong, you're right. There's a great line in Boss Baby. If you're skiing downhill and you're trying to miss the trees, all you'll see is trees. And Ben McCollum does not see the trees. Ben McCollum is going down the hill at 500 miles an hour, and all he sees is the openings between the trees. I love that.
I mean, to come out and just...
I think my superpower is I find winners.
Yes. Because everybody has a superpower, and he's going to go... I mean, how many head coaches have you said, I think my superpower is I find winners, and I find good kids, and
most coaches say, my superpower is I'm a great coach.
Yeah.
I can take kids and coach them up.
I mean, that was an interview question last night. I mean, it's 90.
I'm sorry. I don't know why this is in my brain. This is all going to suck if he's not the Iowa coach.
Oh, well, 100%.
This is all going to suck if all of a sudden we hear that he's going to wherever.
Well, I went through the list of jobs that are open, and I'm going to go over. Maybe after the 6:30 break, we'll go through those.
Do I even want to hear them?
No, because I think I was sitting in a pretty good spot.
Okay, all right. So I do want to hear them.
I think I was sitting in a pretty good spot because there's not a lot of because his net worth went up tremendously last night for a number of reasons. The way this team is played. And you can watch that. It wasn't a fluke last night.
No, they beat that team.
Yes, they beat. I've seen upsets where you go, okay, it was a fluke, and I'm not saying that Drake's going to turn around and beat Texas Tech on Saturday. I'm not going to make that. I think it's going to be a good game.
Tough game.
But I'm not going to sit here and say that Drake. But it doesn't have to win to prove the point that Drake made last night, and that is. They beat Vandy earlier in the season. They beat Kansas State earlier in the season. They beat Miami earlier in the season. They proved they could compete, and then they did it on the biggest stage on the biggest day. Day one of the NCAA Basketball Tournament is when everybody sits back and watches to see what's going to unfold. And sometimes you just see a team get really hot. Drake's been hot for a long time. You have 31 wins. This isn't a Norfolk State coming in and knocking off Virginia, a team that, when Norfolk State had like 17 or 18 wins. This is a 30-win team that proved to the world, hey, we're pretty good. Ross, we talk a lot about leading up to the NCAA tournament and the Missouri Valley Conference tournament, and I'm going to throw a couple stats at you because this blew me away. It absolutely blew me away. And maybe why the NCAA Selection Committee should start thinking about the Missouri Valley Conference a little bit differently. I've always been a Valley fan. Since 2012, the Missouri Valley Conference is 13-4 in its first NCAA tournament game.
Come on.
13-4. So what you say there is the Missouri Valley Conference, and I think it was Jeff Goodman or it might have been Seth Davis who said the Missouri Valley is caught between no man's land, right? Yeah. It's not a mid-major. It is a mid-major, but it's like better than a mid-major, but it's not one of those top five. It's like no man's land. But you go, okay, you're 13-4 since 2012 in your first game. That includes play-in games. But still, 13-4. Here's another one. In the NCAA tournament all time, the Missouri Valley Conference is 10-6 against SEC schools. Now, the SEC got 14 teams into this year's NCAA tournament. The SEC is a Power 5 school or conference. They are 10-6 all time against SEC schools. What I hear that when I see those numbers, and the analytics don't lie, is that, okay, they perform really well in the NCAA tournament. You go 13-4 since 2012. You're 10-6 against SEC. Maybe, just maybe, this conference deserves more than one team in the NCAA tournament.
No doubt about that last point. No doubt. And last night they even said that towards the end of that game. They're like, man, Valley basketball. Yeah, where the hell have you guys been all year? How come these national talking heads haven't been saying that all year long, going, man, this is a shame that this is a one-bid league? Because those are the conversations we were having in February, going, you know what's really shitty about this? Drake might not even make it. Like, they're one bad call away in a conference championship game away from not making the NCAA tournament. That team last night, which was one of the best teams we watched yesterday, one of the best teams we saw yesterday was Drake, with maybe the best player we saw yesterday. That team almost didn't even make the tournament because of the system that we currently live in, where they don't have a shot because we got to put every SEC team in the tournament. And Travis, I do fall for it. I mean, leading up to the game, I'm like, yeah, Missouri's going to win this game. I mean, they're a better team. They're more athletic. They've got better players. Why do they have better players? Because they're an SEC school. So by default, they're going to have a better team. I did the exact same thing, and I live in Des Moines, wearing a Drake logo. I did the exact same thing. How does that national perception change? Because, again, the proof is there, man. 13-4 since 2012.
Since 2012.
So things like last night have happened before, where a Valley team goes and they win a game and they look good, and the national talking heads go, wow, the Valley. Look at that. And 9 months later, they totally forget about it. Well, we totally forget about it. Go, good luck to you and I and Drake.
It's called falling back into old habits. And I would say everybody is guilty of it. 515-517-2303. We're going to take a break, come back, talk about Ben McCollum and the open jobs in college basketball and the pressure that now falls onto Beth Getz as she searches for the next Iowa basketball coach. This is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Spring is coming up, and it's a time for cleaning and renewal. Get your spring cleaning started early with a fuel induction service from Willis Volvo Cars. This service cleans out carbon buildup and other deposits from the fuel injectors, intake valves, and combustion chambers. This service can provide fuel efficiency, performance, and power to make sure your Volvo is ready for spring and summer travel. Right now, we are offering 10% off a fuel induction service, so give us a call or head online to willisvolvocars.com.
Is something in your attic keeping you up at night? Don't let unwanted guests take over your home. With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's trusted expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly wildlife solutions at a fair price. We safely remove bats, squirrels, raccoons, birds, and more so you can sleep soundly again. For a free estimate, call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage & Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage & Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage & Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
When it comes to mortgages, no one is more trusted than Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. With more than 25 years of experience, Gary has been Iowa's top mortgage banker for the past 5 years. With creativity and professionalism, Gary is dedicated to finding unique programs to help you afford the home you deserve. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank/Gary Presnall. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Missing a quality home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the champagne of bars.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25. Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25. Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge. Hey guys, my name is Mason Miller. I'm the Infinity Sales Manager out here at Willis Infinity, and this month we are springing ahead with some great deals. Currently this month we are doing 1.9% out to 72 on all QX50 and 55 models. Also this month we are doing $3,000 conquest on eligible models for the QX80. Stop at our showroom or visit us online at willisinfinity.com.
Listen to the Rush Radio Show all day long at therushradio.com, powered by Willis Automotive. Just click that Listen Live link. You can pick the show up in progress. You can also find our social media channels and the podcast version of the show right there at therushradio.com. I'm Travis Justice. He is Ross Peterson. Drake, a 67-57 win over Missouri, advancing to the round of 32 in the NCAA Basketball Tournament. There's some debate going on, Ross, about, Drake's first-round win. Their last NCAA tournament win was in 2021, which was a play-in game. This morning on SI.com, it said Drake got its first NCAA tournament win since 1971.
They said that last night during the broadcast, too. Towards the end of it, they're like, Drake hasn't had a NCAA tournament win since 1971, and I even said at the time, that's not true. Wait, that's not true. And then they said, and then my brain did the thing where it tricked itself. I went, I'm thinking of UNI. Yeah, UNI is the one that won that game a couple years ago, right? Yeah, that's what it was. Because CBS wouldn't be wrong. No, CBS went full anti-Fran McCaffrey and said, it's a play-in game.
Yeah, they totally said it was. Tell me it's a play-in game without saying it's a play-in game, right? Now, and we've said those are play-in games all along. I understand you get the court, you get the television coverage, but we do understand that those first four games, and that's how you take away the sting of calling it a play-in game. You call it's a first four game. And not taking anything away from Drake's 2021 play-in game win. That was significant. But you go to an actual first-round game, Drake's first-round win since 1971. That's going back in time.
It's a long time, man.
It
really
that's
a
is.
hell of a lot closer to their Final Four than what we are now.
Before we get into the Ben McCollum watch of where he may be coaching next year, he had a great quote last night about just the experience, and what he was asked in a roundabout way. What does it mean for the fans? What does it mean for the players? And you don't hear an answer like this that often. But it's a little long. But I'm like, God, he's just being totally honest with everybody right now, which is refreshing from somebody sitting at a desk.
Again, it's probably the reason you do it is the stage allows you to pass a message, which is, tough kids, connected kids that love each other and serve each other still can win. Kids that maintain a level of loyalty, kids that are just awesome to be around can still win. As far as the whole world seeing from my perspective, I get a lot of joy just me seeing it, to be honest. I'm pretty selfish with that. I love seeing these guys every day. I love going to practice. I think there's a level of memories and things that you go through that nothing can replace. And, so I'm pretty selfish with that. So it's good that other people see it. That's our message. But it's, for me, it doesn't mean anything more than just an empty gym.
I like it.
I'm pretty selfish. It's not about me, but it's about me.
But I'm okay winning in the dark. I'm okay.
Yes.
I'm okay going quiet and ghosting for a little while and just getting better and enjoying that.
515-517-2303. That's a reminder that the phone lines are open. Ross, what are the chances in your mind that Ben McCollum is the head coach at Drake next year?
At
Zero?
Drake?
Yes. Zero?
Zero.
I'm with you on that.
Zero.
So,
I know Brian Harden listens to our show from time to time, and I don't want this to be perceived as a knock on Drake in any way. It's not at all. He's going to get an offer he can't refuse.
Oh yeah.
Now, I say zero. I'm holding to that. I can maybe convince myself that there's a 1% chance that the right job doesn't show up for the right amount of money, and he decides he's going to come back next year. Any financial advisor, any agent, anybody who's paying attention would say the iron is hot.
And if you don't strike when it's hot,
it cools off quickly.
Yes, it does. Do you think you can replicate 31 wins next year?
Right. We don't have to look very far. Ben Jacobson. That's a wonderful career, and he's going to go down as an icon at UNI, an icon. That's awesome. What do you want? What that priority conversation? What's your priority? Is your priority winning national championships, winning big-time basketball? Right now, Drake is not in that place to do that. You can win these games, but this is kind of the mountaintop type of thing. And then, by the way, you're still in that situation where lose to Bradley at an Arch Madness final, and none of this happens.
So there are a number of college basketball jobs open right now. I went through the list today of jobs that I think realistically Ben McCollum would even consider just based on the level of where they're at, right? Because now you're starting to talk elite level. Of course, before Darren DeVries took the Indiana job, a lot of people thought he may be in the mix for Indiana. Right now, open, and there may be more after the NCAA tournament, but there are 6 legitimate jobs that would be an attractive move for Ben McCollum to move from Drake. The first one's going to be Iowa, right? Iowa is out there. It's been open for over a week, and he was born in Iowa City, raised in Storm Lake. That makes sense. Here are the other jobs that could make a serious push for Ben McCollum and his services. Minnesota. Now, a lot of people think that's going to be Nico Medved. I think it's going to be Nico Medved, but Minnesota is out there. Villanova is open, and that has not been filled. And you're going to go, Villanova? Well, yes, Villanova. It's a basketball-only school.
Who would say, you can't, nobody should scoff at Villanova being a great job.
No kidding. You have resources. You have history in national titles. You'd have to live in the shadow a little bit of Jay Wright.
Yeah.
But there's something to be said for that.
But every one of these well, not every one of them. Because there ain't much of a shadow in Iowa and Minnesota.
Yeah, zero shadow. Virginia is open. Of course, Tony Bennett left before the season started. Their coach filled in on an interim basis. They are looking for a head coach. Virginia, culturally, I don't know, but you have, again, a strong basketball tradition with national titles, with resources. West Virginia is open.
Yep, I have that one down.
Yeah, West Virginia. And the other one, it's a long shot. It's the worst one of the 6, and that's UNLV. The fact that UNLV had to come out and admit that it doesn't have enough money to pay its football coach for years, after year 2.
They have 2 years of money sitting there right now.
2 years of money. So you look at those 6 jobs. I look at those 6. I think Iowa's sitting in a pretty good position. Not a guarantee, But the pressure that Beth Getz is under at the University of Iowa right now has to be immense because you have a fan base that is sitting back watching this going, what is taking so long? Why haven't you closed this deal?
Well, I think now the idea, because last night, this is the same conversation I had with my dad. We walk in, he's like, hey, Iowa hire a coach yet? No, they're not gonna. The guy on TV is the one that we're all wanting and hoping for, and that won't happen until have the conversation started. They better have. Better have. We don't get anything official until probably 24 hours after this thing ends up with Drake. All right, go ahead.
Let's say Drake loses on Saturday.
Okay.
People are going to be livid if there's not an announcement by Sunday night.
Yeah, Monday we better come on the air talking about Ben McCollum as the new head coach at Iowa.
Yes.
If they lose this weekend. I want to talk about that list for a little bit. UNLV you said it up front. That's the outlier in that. Is it a better job than Drake? Yes. It's a long ways, I think, from those other schools.
100% agree
for a lot of reasons. Recruiting base is great there at UNLV, and you can do like what TJ did. That can be a launching pad to a really good job. If you go to UNLV and you do well there, it can be. But that's not a dream job. It's not a destination job. I don't think Ben McCollum is a Las Vegas type of guy. Raise my family in Vegas. No. Those other schools. Minnesota, West Virginia, Villanova, Virginia. You say Iowa's in a good position there. I see Iowa as maybe, again, there's a cultural thing here, but I think it's maybe the fourth best job of those five. Only better than West Virginia.
You think it's better than West Virginia?
I think it might be. I'm not sure. And Travis, again, it's either fourth or fifth on that list. Minnesota's a better job than Iowa. You're going to have more NIL. You're going to have a stronger recruiting base. Your expectations aren't huge. That's a decent job. Villanova, Virginia. You've got recent dynamic success there. The expectations are big, but you also have national championships that you're recruiting with. I don't see, again, I'm just trying to, I'm reading the tea leaves of what happened with DeVries, reading some of this national news stuff that's out there about the NIL is non-existent, that Beth Getz, I'm assuming the way that conversation went was something like, hey, we can't wait for you to get here and you to spark all of the NIL stuff. And he went, oh, I don't want that to be my job.
I would rank it, I would put West Virginia ahead of Iowa based on the NIL situation.
Okay.
And I think Darren was able to go into West Virginia last year. He assembled a team with basically nobody because he had the resources to build a complete roster, right? And I'm starting to hear different ways that NIL is working. And I next time we have Brad Heinrichs on, I want to ask him about this. Maybe we can ask Brett Bloom as well. I was asking some people yesterday. I watched the Creighton game. Did you happen to watch Creighton yesterday? Creighton looked really good yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
And, of course, Ryan Kalkbrenner is a big part of that. He's the 7-1 center. And I go to my boss. I go, hey, what is Creighton's NIL a year? What is their payout for the – and he guesstimated around – between $2.5 to $3 million a year. I mean, that's more than what Iowa has, like, for a lot of things. But here's what they're doing, Ross. They're going full Major League Baseball. Deferred payments. So even after you leave, there's an agreement in place to pay you, like, you get like $400,000 this year, $300,000 after you're gone, and another $300,000.
Smart move for everybody involved. And smart move for everybody involved. Defer those payments for Creighton down the road, push it down the road, build your interest in your bank account, pay it, and then it's smart for those kids because now you've got mailbox money coming for a couple of years. Those first couple of years of adulthood, as we all know, are very difficult. Make that a little bit easier for you. I think that's smart.
Yeah, so I know Beth she doesn't answer to fans. But this is such an emotional thing right now that she will be judged by fans whether or not she can close
Travis,
this deal.
I don't think it has anything to do with the emotion of now. This is the fact. This is the facts. This is what you're judged on as an athletic director. We know, most of us fans, when you get down to the brass tacks, you realize an athletic director's job is about finances. It's about raising money. Doesn't matter if you win or lose. That's the coach's job. The athletic director's job is to raise money. The thing that the athletic director has their finger on the pulse of the most, or their weight on the scale, is to hire those coaches. That's what you've got to do. You got to have home run hires. And when they're not a home run hire, you got to have the wherewithal to pull them from that position and put somebody else in. Jamie Pollard has done a great job at Iowa State of putting the right people in the right place, and then when he finds they're the right people, he gets the hell out of the way until it's time to pay him more money. And then he shows up with the bag. Says, Matt Campbell, what do we got to do to keep you here? TJ Altsberger, what do we got to do to keep you here?
The reason
this is what Beth Getz is going to be judged on, dude. Like it or not, it's not press conferences. It's not, she's not Gary Barta. You screw up this hire. We have a Todd Licklider era here these next couple of years. People will be calling for Beth Getz's job because then they're going to start wondering, well, because remember, she's going to have a big football hire coming up here very soon.
You just stole what I was going to say, is that if she botches this, and you don't really know if you botch it till like 4 years down the road, right?
Right.
That's the problem. But fans
maybe sooner. In this era, Travis, maybe it's sooner. If you hire a coach and they aren't able to turn things around right away, you hired the wrong coach.
Yes. Now, I think it's safe to say that I think Bennett Stirtz and Ben McCollum have a very close relationship, so it's a package deal. Meaning, not only you got to come up with at minimum $3 million a year for Ben McCollum, and you're going to have to come up with some major cash for Bennett Stirtz on the NIL deal. So it's a package deal. All these teams, all these schools are going, it's a 2-for-1. We're getting Bennett Stirtz, and we're going to get, and I'm making that assumption. That's just my opinion. But you stole my thunder right there, Ross, and that is the fans are so passionate about this now that if she's unable to close Ben McCollum, they are going to be really worried when the football job comes over.
Yeah. Because that's a bigger hire. That's higher stakes.
Do you think Ben McCollum is the Iowa coach when this is all said and done?
Yes.
So do I. I really do too.
But I'm worried about that. I'm worried because I'm building it up in my head. And I've said from the get, it's a far drop to number 3. There's names. There's the Steve Forbes of the world. There are names that you could hire that a percentage of the fan base is going to go, yes, this is the right guy. Ready to give my money. Ready to buy season tickets. In my mind, there were 2 names from the get that would have done that for the majority of the fan base. Again, somebody writes, Jeff Horner's waiting in the wings. Jeff Horner's a guy, there's a percentage of the fan base that would go, yes, got our guy. Season tickets, here we go. It's a much smaller percentage than it would have been with Darren DeVries and that it's going to be if it's Ben McCollum.
515-517-2303. Let's go to Kent. Kent, welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. What's going on, Kent?
Hey, good morning, guys. I heard a rumor Texas job may be opening up over the weekend. Any chance they make a run at McCollum?
Well, I think if any job opens, you have to assume until he's hired by somebody else that he's going to be a candidate for it. Now, Rodney Terry hasn't been fired yet. A lot of people think there may be an exit strategy there, but the fact that it hasn't happened yet after their early exit in the first 4, you kind of go, okay, what are you waiting for? Unless you're trying to get the buyout and everything negotiated, I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. So they got better as the season went along, qualified for the tournament. A lot of people put it out there that he may be gone, but it hasn't happened yet. But I would say, to answer your question in a long-winded answer, yeah, I think he would be a candidate. That's why the more you drag this out, you've got to go in and close the deal right away. This isn't a long play. This isn't, hey, we got to do several interviews. We got to interview several candidates. This is go get your guy and close the deal.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. Iowa may not be the best job, but as a Cyclone, if they kill me, he's going to be at Iowa next year.
As a Hawkeye fan, I hope so. And there's that Hawkeye fan in me that loves to hear Cyclone fans say that. Hawkeye fans did the same thing. As TJ showed up and started doing stuff, it was like, oh, I'm really happy that TJ's back where he calls home, and I'm happy that the Cyclones are going to win. This kind of sucks as a Hawkeye fan because they're going to kick our ass for a while.
Yep.
I
think it's all right, guys. Hey, I like the new format.
Oh, thanks man. Appreciate it. Chris Flagg, regular listener to the show, your buddy, says if Drake makes the Sweet 16, he's going somewhere else. Hey, we've moved the goal. We keep moving the goalpost, okay?
Moving the cheese.
We've moved the cheese again because we said, well, if he wins last night, he probably is not going to go to Iowa. Now we're like, okay, well, if he makes the Sweet 16, he may not go to Iowa. There would still be a lot of reasons not to take those other jobs, even if he does make the Sweet 16. He has a good problem. He has a problem we all wish we had at some point in our life.
And the thing that's going through my head right now where I'm kind of back and forth on the fence of is I keep saying to myself, but it's the job. Iowa's the job he wants. Iowa was the job Darren DeVries wanted. So what happened in that situation? I'm guessing the money wasn't right. I'm guessing once he got to look under the hood, he said, "Oh, this car doesn't have what I need to win." That again, I'm just making those assumptions.
No. You just hit the nail on the head. What do coaches want?
Win. They want the system in place to win. They want the support from the athletic department, from the fan base, to know that they're going to have the tools in their hands to go win. And I have to guess that one of those two things is what happened with Darren DeVries. A, the offer was so low that he went, I got multiple more millions to do the same job in the same conference. Or he looked under the hood and said, darn it, this place is in worse shape than I thought, and I can't win here. I'm not going to be the guy that comes here and is just the fall guy for the next 5 years while they get their ass kicked again. And so that's the thing in my head is Ben McCollum wants the job. Why didn't Darren take it? And is Ben McCollum going to do that same thing? If Texas shows up and says, hey, Ben McCollum, we know you want to go to Iowa. We know that. We can double that salary and put all the tools in your hands that you want to win. And then he goes and he sits down with Beth Getz, and Beth says, hey, we're really excited about you building an NIL program for us.
Shit. Jason asked an interesting question, and I think I have a pretty good answer for it. He says, can he consistently do this against Big Ten schools night in and night out? Hold on for a second. It's not when you go to Iowa, you're not going to recruit the exact same player that you're recruiting at Drake. You are recruiting, you're going to look for the type of mentality maybe, but you are going and guys that want to be team players, and because TJ Otzelberger is recruiting different players at Iowa State than he did at South Dakota State.
Oh, buddy.
Exactly. He's recruiting different players at Iowa State than he did at UNLV. Now, some similarities because UNLV is a higher level program, but you go, well, can you do it? You did it at South Dakota State, but will it work at Iowa State? Your system works, your belief system, your offenses, your defenses, you just get a higher caliber athlete, basketball player to fill those same roles. So there are no guarantees in coaching. Ross and I have been around this a long time. People who you think are going to be a success don't turn out to be. People who you think are like, man, that's a weird hire, turn out to be really good hires.
Dude, I thought Lovie Smith was going to be the answer for Illinois football.
Yeah. I think a lot of people did. So asking that question, could you do it night in and night out? With his current team, probably not. But you're not bringing the current team over. You're bringing a guy who said earlier, I want to go, this is what I want to do. And his best friend is Grant McCaslin, who's the head coach at Texas Tech. These guys are going head-to-head. And, McCaslin was at North Texas. Do you ask the question, well, can you do this night in and night out in the Big 12? And the answer to that is he's doing it. Texas Tech just had a record for wins in a season. As you move up the caliber of player you bring into your program. And so, yeah, I think he can. I really think he can.
And there's one way of knowing, and that's doing it. I mean, it's a fair question. It is a fair question. This guy was a D2 coach for a decade. What's he know about winning at the Division I level? We'll see. We'll see. We're going to find out somewhere. We're going to find out how good this guy does in a Power 5 conference.
Austin writes in, and this is where hindsight is always 20/20. Austin writes in, says, Licklider was National Coach of the Year he got hired at Iowa. And you know what? And it was a good hire. At the time, it was a good hire. You're like, you just got the National Coach of the Year. This is the problem with coaching. You don't really get to judge the hire until about 3-4 years down the road. And
again, that was then. This is now. It's a much tighter window now. Yeah, I would even say, Travis, you have 2 years. You maybe get that first year, maybe, but that's a weak excuse.
Yeah,
we've seen it over and over and over and over and over at dozens now of universities. The roster changes over in basketball, and you don't need 9 guys to win. If you can get a couple of your dudes and fill in the spaces around them, you're going to be an NCAA tournament team your first year at a new program. If you're that type of coach, we've seen it over and over and over. So you maybe get 2 years if you're lucky. That second year you're there, you better be winning.
515-517-2303. That is the number to call. The phone line is going to be open until 8 o'clock today. That's how long Ross and I are here today. Of course, the NCAA tournament continues today. Iowa State's going to be in action early this afternoon, taking on Lipscomb. We will talk about the Cyclones matchup and TJ Otzelberger's return home to Milwaukee, plus an update on Taman Lipsey, who got through the Big 12 tournament a little injured. Will he be ready for today's game?
Are we going to talk at all about the NIL deal for the McNeese State team manager?
Yeah, we can do that as well. Yes, team manager and NIL. It is the Rush Radio Show at therushradio.com.
Is something in your attic keeping you up at night? Don't let unwanted guests take over your home. With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's trusted expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly wildlife solutions at a fair price. We safely remove bats, squirrels, raccoons, birds, and more so you can sleep soundly again. For a free estimate, call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage & Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage & Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage & Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
When it comes to mortgages, no one is more trusted than Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines, Iowa's top mortgage banker for the past 5 years. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know. High quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah. Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
My name is Corey Allen, and I'm a recon tech at Willis Automotive. Worked here for about a year and 3 months. Was an express tech before this. I was in the automotive field before I came here. Needed a different change of pace from, the management and everything, and someone who already works here, who liked how everything was ran, told me about it, told me that there was a spot open, and told me to give it a shot, and I've liked it ever since. A lot of good people that work here. Everyone's willing to share their knowledge. Yeah, I would say that's about it.
If you have a pest problem with over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's local expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly pest solutions at a fair price for your home or business. Call us today at 515-218-3400.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers.
Number 2 of the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. If you're listening on the stream at therushradio.com, thank you so much. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and set up those notifications so you know when we go live. You can follow us on X at Rush Mornings and just search The Rush with Travis and Ross on Facebook and Instagram. Talked a lot about Drake's win over Missouri last night in the NCAA Basketball Tournament. Talked a lot about Iowa and its search for a new coach, and will that be Ben McCollum in the first hour? We took a lot of phone calls, which is nice. So we got somebody on hold right now, 515-517-2303. Let's go to Moose. Moose, welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Good morning, gentlemen. I got a couple questions for you this morning. First of all, let's say Ben McCollum does come over to Iowa. How many of the existing players does he keep on the current roster?
Well, you've got 4 in the transfer portal right now. So you and what you have to do, and I think he brought his guys from Northwest Missouri State because he said, hey, I know these guys, they're winners. Yeah. I know what they're capable of. You have to go in and basically do one-on-one interviews with the team, with your players, and say, hey, are you a good fit? Are you not a good fit? And find out whether those match the culture and the style of play you want to play. So, I mean, sometimes it's just not a good fit, right? So I think there would be an interview process.
I'm just asking you guys' opinion. I'm just asking your opinion. Which guys do you think any of the guys that are in the portal, or any of the ones that haven't went in the portal, would they stick around? I personally think Traore would fit well within that system. A Mulvey, not so much.
Yeah, that's a good call, like Moose. Yeah, I could see that.
Sanford's on the line because he can shoot it, but does he have the defensive mentality to handle a McCollum defense? Second question for y'all: if, God forbid, McCollum doesn't get the job, who's your backup go-to person? That's a real question.
That's the thing, Moose. I think that it's a sea of guys, and I'm not a sea, but 5 or 6 guys that fans would be there. There's about a 5% of the fan base that's going to be happy with one of those names, and it's a different 5% for Horner or for Forbes or you name it. There's a handful of guys.
Why does it have to be Iowa related?
It doesn't. I'm an Alan Huss guy.
Doesn't have to be.
Moose, I said earlier, and people think I'm smoking crack. I'm on meth, but I said Alan Huss. Alan Huss is at High Point right now. He's a former Creighton assistant. He's a hell of a coach. A lot of people are going to go, I don't know who Alan Huss is. I don't know what a High Point is. But to me, that would be a long shot, right?
Yeah, and again, whichever coach you bring in, unless it's Horner, most fans are going to have to Google him. If it's not Ben McCollum, most fans are going to have to find out who this guy is, and that's what we've been talking about. Like, you need something that's going to light a fire in the fan base. Steve Forbes' name does not do that. He is going to start from ground zero, and you don't want to do that. You want to give your program some sort of leg up, and a jolt of energy would be that tiny leg up that you can give it. And you lost your big bolt.
I really wish.
What was that, Moose?
I really wish we could go after Chris Jans. I really wish we could go after Chris Jans.
There's another name.
But that's too big of a.
Yeah, it's a good name, but again, is that enough to get the donors to go, yes, here's the checkbook? No, I don't think it is. I think that's enough to go, oh, okay, now we're interested and we'll watch and we'll see. And if things move the right way, then we'll give you some dollars. You need the splash. You need the kaboom. No way. We got the guy.
Yep.
And that's Ben McCollum right now. And there's nobody else on that list unless you get, Travis, like you said, if you can make the announcement that Bruce Pearl's leaving to come to Iowa, boom. That's the explosion. Ain't happening. Ain't happening.
Thanks for the call, Moose. Appreciate it. Good questions.
And by the way,
another name. Hey, have a great day, guys. Oh, by the way, I'm going to the Iowa women's game tomorrow. I'm headed to Norman tonight. So.
Very cool.
All right.
Have
Drive
fun.
safe.
Travel safe. To your point, Moose, a few people did mention this. Dick's sticking around would maybe be a good fit. I mean, that dude can fill it up. He's a big time Big Ten basketball player, I think.
You mentioned the splash, Ross. I do believe that if Ben McCollum were to come to Iowa, that you would have fans and donor bases that would open up for the Swarm to give him the resources
to
go out and get some players.
Especially after what we've seen. Watching that last night, I mean, Twitter was a lot of Hawkeye fans and Cyclone fans going, wow. Who was the gentleman we had earlier? John, who called in and said, I'm a Cyclone fan. I had not watched Drake play all year. Damn.
And that's sad, right? Because Drake's in a great spot in the state of Iowa. If you're a Cyclone fan, you don't have to hate Drake. If you're an Iowa fan, you don't have to hate Drake. You can be a fan. The sad thing is they sold out one game all year long. You could have gone to the Knapp Center and watched this team. We've been talking about it since October, November, December.
Right, exactly.
515-517-2303. Let's go to Adam. Adam, welcome to the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
Morning, fellas. Hey, I heard yesterday, and it was a pretty good Iowa guy, too. Ken Miller said Nick Nurse to bring him back in if we can.
I will say this. Some guys are great for the NBA. Some guys are great for college. All right? Nick Nurse is an NBA guy. He's always wanted to – he's liked the pro game. Give me coaches over time that have had success in the NBA and college at the same time. Pitino a little bit, but it's hard to find. It's kind of like NFL guys. NFL guys are successful at the NFL level and maybe not have the best success in college. That's just my opinion. We keep reaching for this Iowa tie, and I understand it. We like our own. I think Nick's got a really good deal with the 76ers. Hasn't, performed like they thought he was going to. But Nick has a name. But, Ross, I don't know how you feel about that. I just think Nick loves the pro game. Look at his track record. I mean, the only college he's ever coached was Grandview.
I was going to say, last time I remember was Grandview. That's what I about threw that in.
That's it. Grandview. He was going to be an assistant at Iowa State, but then got an NBA or a G League job or an NBA assistant job, and he's like, I want to be part of that, right? So I just think he likes the pro game.
It's worth a call. It's worth a call. Like all of these. I mean, again, the Bruce Pearl thing. It's worth a call. Say, hey, have you thought about this much?
Yeah.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
Have
Appreciate
a good weekend.
Yep, you too,
buddy.
man. Yep. It was interesting, and we're going to get to the Iowa State game, but just why this is on top of mind. Will Wade is going to be the next head coach at North Carolina State. They've announced that. McNeese State is still playing in the NCAA tournament. This is one of the few times in my life, Ross, that I can remember a coach has been like, hey, I'm still coaching here, but you all know that I'm gone. And he's been, hey, I've been fully transparent with my team. I told them I was going. This is what has happened. Nothing says that Beth Getz couldn't make that announcement tonight.
Well, there's some things that say that. There are. Ben McCollum has a say in that.
Well, that's true.
Said, yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably part of that. I think that's part of what's happening there.
But it is weird to watch a guy coach in the NCAA tournament knowing that, he's gone. And
this is how it feels.
Still,
again, I think it's how it feels with Ben, right? It's how it feels with McCollum. Like when you asked earlier, what's the chances that he's back at Drake next year? Zero. But maybe it's a situation where he has said to Beth Getz, or he has said to, whoever, whatever school it is that has talked to him, he said, we're not announcing anything because I don't want to distract from what I've got going with these guys. I think we can make a Sweet 16. I think we can make a deep run. We could be a real Cinderella story here, but I don't want to distract from it.
515-517-2303. Let's go to New Sharon. That's where Derek is. Derek, welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
How are we doing? How about my Drake Bulldogs?
Oh, now you're on the – how about your Drake Bulldogs?
I tell you what, that Stirtz kid, how so many people missed on that. That guy is not only a Missouri Valley Player of the Year, he ought to be an All-American. That kid is that good. I watched a lot of college basketball. That kid is smooth, man. Woo. He's going to look good in Cardinal gold next year.
Yeah. Yeah, he might look good in black and gold next year if Ben McCollum goes to Iowa.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the first time I watched a complete Drake game, and they all play for one another. They all play hard. Very well coached team, and no egos. I was impressed. Go Drake.
It's amazing to me, and Derek, you're not alone. It's amazing. I think everybody who's called today, Ross, has said it's the first time they've watched Drake. And this is a local audience. The danger of being on ESPN Plus all the time.
Yeah.
But you sit back and watch and go, oh, why didn't I watch this team all year long?
Travis, it is that perception thing that's impossible to break, especially when it's beat down your throat by the national media. It's Valley basketball. It's not big-time basketball. And then you watch it and you come back in there, you go, well, hey, you guys know they're playing big-time basketball over there at the Knapp Center. Like, they're playing really good ball. Yeah. But the national media tells me it's Valley basketball. Travis, you and I have said this thing about Grandview football. You and I go watch Grandview football, and we come back in there and we go, holy cow. Holy cow. It's not good football. It's great football happening over there on the east side of Des Moines.
The only thing separating them from like that next level is like 2 inches of height.
Height. You're right. Height is what it is. And you watch them play and you go, holy cow, this is good. Go ahead, Derek.
The only other thing out of last night's game, I sat there in my chair. That Caleb Grill has a punchable face. Man, I like to clock him one. What a punk.
Now, why? Because he left Iowa State?
No, he left out. He's a mental case. I was waiting for him to freak out last night and get a technical. Oh, no, there's just something about that dude I don't like.
Travis, listen, this is one of the things I agree with Derek on. I don't know why. I found myself rooting against Caleb. I don't root against people. I don't find myself hoping bad things for. I did last night. I'm watching that game, and when Caleb Grill would miss a shot, I'd go, good. And he got that one dunk.
Great minds think alike, Peterson.
All right, Derek.
Great minds think alike.
Where are you watching the game today?
Have a good one.
Where are you watching the game today?
Where am I going to watch? I'm going to drive around, drink a few beers, listen to the women's game, and then I'm going to go home and get in my chair for the men's game.
Only Derek. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Have a good one, fellas.
Derek calling from 1983.
Drive around. It'd be like Billy Bob in Landman. He's drinking the Mick Ultra going, this is fake beer. It's not real beer. Were you rooting against Tony Perkins last night?
No, I found myself seeing Tony Perkins and going, "Hey, Tony, I like you." But Caleb Grill, there was something about it. I don't find myself doing this. What's that?
He played well last night. I think he had
played
14.
okay. I mean, he played okay. He didn't shoot the ball well from 3-point range. That's kind of what he's at. I don't know. There's something about it. I can't put my finger on it. If it's the 5 universities in 5 years, if it's, I don't know. I'll tell you when I felt the worst about my emotions last night.
Okay.
When they showed Caleb Grill's family. And they're like, here's the Grill family. And my thought was, how much money have they spent on all that logoed gear for all these different schools? Because they're all decked out in Missouri. Everybody's got a Missouri hat, a Missouri shirt. They're probably wearing Missouri underwear and socks. It's like, man, do you guys have all that stuff from the Jackrabbit days? Do you guys?
Because he committed to Iowa State, went to UNLV,
then back to Iowa State, and then to Missouri.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was never at South Dakota State with TJ?
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay. I felt like he was. Seems like 7 universities in 5 years to me. But I hate that feeling. I hate feeling that way because I want to root for people. I've never met Caleb Grill. I don't know why. Last night I saw watching the game, I'm like rooting against him.
515-517-2303. Let's go to Booker. Booker, welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. What's going on, Booker?
Hey, what's up, guys? Love you. Love your kick-ass show.
Thanks, brother.
Booker.
Ross, I'm so glad you're back on the radio. Man, I missed you, brother. I missed you.
Thanks, man. I'm glad to be back, Booker.
Hey, as long as we're dumping on people, I want to go ahead and throw Tony Perkins in the penalty box. That guy, he played so terrible. He got his coach fired, and now he transfers somewhere else because he sucks, and Iowa ran him out of there. And the pasture isn't always greener the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And it's good to see an Iowa team kick his ass out of the tournament. Now get out of here, Tony Perkins. You're 35 years old. Time to go get a real job, my man.
I'm going to say this about that Missouri team. Those dudes look like they're 40. Every guy on that team looks they are in a 30-plus league, dude. It's weird because especially now it's like, well, these college basketball players, they're here for a year or two. Like, those guys had 76 years of experience on the court last night.
Hey, Travis, if you got nothing to do today, I was supposed to have a delivery in Arlington, but it got canceled because they don't have any power. So if you want to have lunch, buddy, I got my afternoon wide open.
All right, Booker. Drive safe today, brother.
Booker.
I'm just sitting in my hotel room listening to the greatest radio show on earth. I love you guys. Have a good weekend, my man.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it, Booker. That's very nice of you, man. And listen, I did not find myself that way with Tony Perkins, and I don't have those feelings towards Tony Perkins. I see Tony Perkins as a kid who saw a better opportunity somewhere, and it worked out for him. He ended up going to the NCAA tournament and not getting bounced in the second round of the Big Ten tournament that they barely made it into. Would Iowa have been better this year with Tony Perkins? Yeah. Yeah, they would have been.
Where would his playing time come from, though, right? Because you're going up against Josh Day. I mean, and that's the thing. Guys want to play.
Would they have been good enough to change their season with Tony Perkins? No.
No. It wouldn't have been, oh, my God, we lost this guy, so that cost us so many games. I don't think that was the case with Iowa. Iowa State is in action this afternoon, Ross, in Milwaukee, taking on Lipscomb. This should be a win for the Cyclones. The big question is Tamin Lipsey, who, of course, was injured in the Big 12 tournament. He practiced for the first time yesterday and talked about his health and heading into this game.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty well. Spent a lot of time in the training room with our trainer, Vic, and just spending a lot of time in there, feeling better every day. Haven't gotten able to do a lot. Been sitting out and just waiting for the time. So just going to go out there and hope to feel good, feel as best as I can, and do what I can for the team.
Maybe.
So, the big thing there is the only thing I worry about is just how will his legs be, right? I mean, when you sit out that long and you're not very active, it takes, 30 days to get in shape? It takes like 5 days to get out of shape? I mean, you wonder the lack of practice time and the ability to be on the court will affect Tamin Lipsey's legs. Now, there's enough depth there to carry him, but you understand what I'm saying.
I love Chris's comment there. That did not sound 100%. That does not sound. That was not. Oh, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. They're gonna unleash the dog on Friday, and I'm gonna be flying. Okay. Do they need Tamin Lipsey to beat Lipscomb? No. You want him back out there for a little bit. I think you're right, Travis, to just see that he can do it, see what that looks like in game action, because it's not practice. You want to see what that adrenaline's doing. If you're a Cyclone fan, I think it's kind of important to see him at some point today just to know that he's healthy enough. It's not important to win the game. I think you can get him out there for a few minutes, see him up and down the court a few times and go, all right, we're good to go. You feeling better? That felt okay? All right. Let's put you on the bench again until Sunday when we're probably going to need you. Because we got to get this machine back to full strength if we're going to do what we hope to do here. And we better be able to beat Lipscomb without you.
Yeah, I don't think he's 100%, but he doesn't need to be 100%. But the thing you worry about is the legs and the possibility of re-injuring.
Exactly. So you can't don't roll him out there and go 100%. See what it looks like. See how he's feeling. Get him back off the court. If I'm a Cyclone fan, that's what I'm hoping for. As a guy that's wanting to see the Cyclones make a deep run, that's what I want to see tonight. What I want to see today is Tamin Lipsey come out and he's 100%. And they go, we figured it out. We put the Ben Gay on. We hadn't been using the Ben Gay.
It works miracles.
Rub
Icy
some
hot.
tussin on it.
Now, of course, Iowa State's gone through adversity all year long, from Momcilovic to Keyshawn Gilbert to Tamin Lipsey, and TJ had addressed those problems they went through all season long yesterday.
I think on any good team, when you have adversity and when you have challenges, it's important that the next man up mentality, and you gain strength collectively from the group and pouring into the group. Our team has really done a fantastic job of that, and that's allowed them to continue to elevate. And we played some really great games at the end of the season against teams that really needed wins. So I think having that feeling and knowing what it's like will prepare us for this opportunity.
Okay, does TJ Otzelberger look like a basketball coach or a guy that's getting ready for a UFC fight?
He always looks like a guy that's ready for a UFC fight.
Speaking of UFC, tickets go on sale today to the Wells Fargo Arena fights on May 3rd. Go to HybeeTix.com. They go on sale at 10 o'clock. But you're right. He looks like a guy that's just ready to
So, I
fight.
mean, even like, and when you just played that clip, my brain was doing some comparisons to Ben McCollum there. TJ's intense. Like, he kind of has that thing where he's kind of talking to you through gritted teeth a little bit.
He's like annoyed being on the dais.
Kind of like, I just want to get back to doing what I need to do. This is kind of stupid that I'm sitting here answering your stupid question. And I want to be clear here. I don't get that impression from TJ of like, oh, he's angry. He's mean. I've been around TJ a couple times. Really fun guy to sit and talk to. That impression on those press conferences, I mean, even the body language. And he's just like, oh, I want to be done with this.
Well, it shows you how just zeroed in coaches are, right? I mean, you are in a one and done situation. You are in a one and done situation that if you lose, your season is over. You should win, but the process going through your brain is, I don't want to be here right now. I want to be watching tape. I want to be talking to my assistant coaches, just planning for everything that we may see.
That's exactly that's it. You just nailed it. It's not angry. It's not I don't want to be here. There's not that Bill Belichick. Oh, God, you people. There's not that. It's more of I got important things to be doing right now, and this ain't it. This ain't it. I want to get back to the important things that I do. And by the way, what a great, I love that comment that he makes in there, kind of sneaks in about not only are we beating teams, we've been beating teams that have to win. That's that thing that we've talked about a lot with these college athletes, man. When their backs get put against the wall, when they know the end of the tunnel is coming, something special can happen. Something special can happen where they go, oh, okay, I'm just going to let it fly, and then they become the athlete everybody knew they always could have been. And that's what TJ's saying there is, hey, we've been getting guys' best shots. We haven't been playing teams that have tomorrow. A lot of them, we've been their last effort, and we've won those games. And that's I agree with him. That's an important thing to say to your team. Lipscomb's going to come in with that thing. They think they're Drake. They're ready to come in and knock your ass off.
What did Drake do yesterday? It gave hope to other teams.
Yeah, true.
Same as McNeese State. They give hope to other teams.
You've mentioned McNeese State a couple times. Have you heard about their student manager?
No.
Dude, I saw this thing last night of McNeese State coming from the locker room towards the court. And their student manager is holding this boom box, and they're like, it's almost like walkout music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's like a rap song playing, and all the team is behind him, and they're walking, and they're getting into their flow and getting into their groove. And the student manager, who's like 5'5", is walking in front of them holding this boom box, dancing along with it. And I woke up this morning, and Courtney's like, hey, did you know that McNeese State student manager has an NIL deal?
With Beats?
Huh? He has an NIL deal? No, he doesn't have. He's got a couple of NIL deals.
So the manager who picks up jock straps and towels and Gatorade bottles has an NIL deal. He needs to go into marketing if he found a way to get himself an NIL deal.
And I'm sorry, I said he looked like he was 5'5". He's 5'7". And Jay says, I'm 5'6". I take offense to that statement. I apologize, Jay. I apologize. Amir Khan is his name. The article on ESPN is great. It says, to find the face of the team, look no further than who leads them out of the locker room. It isn't the dynamic guard Javon Garcia, who led the team and was the Southland Conference Player of the Year. It's not shot-blocking forward Christian Shoemate, who recently was named Defensive Player of the Year. A reasonable guess would even say Will Wade, the resurgent coach, who's gone from federal wiretaps and a firing at LSU to a 49-8 record in 2 years. No, it's none of them. It's their 5'7" bespeckled boombox-toting team manager.
They say who his NIL is with or how much he's making?
He's got a couple of them, Trav. I'm trying to see what this is. Tick pick?
Tit pick?
Not tit. Not tit pick.
Okay, sorry. That's what I thought you said.
What was the celebrity skin or whatever?
Yeah.
Tit pick. What's tit pick? Well, if you just type in a woman's name, it tells you when you can find her boobs on TV.
Oh, that's Mr. Skin. That's Mr. Skin.
That's it, yeah.
MrSkin.com. Not that I know. I've just heard about it over the years.
Tick. T-I-C-K.
Okay.
P-I-C-K. Tick pick.
Okay.
Boy, they were really careful with their naming there, weren't they?
Yeah. Hang on to that thought. 515-517-2303. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
Spring is in the air and the perfect time to take care of your vehicle. Your car has worked hard all winter. Now it's time to give it the care it deserves. Did you know spark plugs should be replaced every 60,000 miles on some newer turbocharged vehicles? Also, carbon deposits on the valves can disrupt the airflow of the engine. These simple services can keep your engine running smoothly, ensure you start every adventure with confidence. Visit Willis Chevrolet today and make sure your car is ready for the road ahead.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
If you have a pest problem with over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's local expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly pest solutions at a fair price for your home or business. Call us today at 515-218-3400.
Believe it or not, spring is coming. When it does, be absolutely organized with custom garage or closet systems from Absolute Garage and Closets. Turn a winter mess into a spring success at our showroom in Urbandale or visit absolutegarage.net.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbox to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels. There's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. It's Friday.
I'm just here having conversation. Sorry.
That's fine. You should have seen me. I got up to go take a leak, and my wife's like, "Are you in that big of a hurry?" I go, "I've got to pee. I've got to pee," and we only have a 2-minute break. And
oh, that one was only 2 minutes. That's why that seemed short. Okay.
Yeah, it was only 2 minutes. Only 2 minutes, man. What? How much basketball did you watch yesterday? I actually ended up watching quite a bit.
Yeah, quite a bit, man. Got to you got me hooked on that High Point game early on. Creighton got it started. That was fun. I was watching that High Point game, hoping that they would pull off something. Let's see. Was it Auburn, Alabama State? Watched a little bit. I wanted to watch Wisconsin for a couple reasons, but one, our buddy Ken Payne, who's from Wisconsin and a big Badger fan. He was doing some sales stuff yesterday, so I thought, I'm going to watch the game and keep Ken up to date on it. I didn't watch Wisconsin to dribble, I don't think. And then the Drake game was glued to that. Went out to Dad's house, made some steaks out there, and enjoyed that. That was a fun game from tip to tail.
The most interesting game, I'm not going to say it's the best game, but maybe the best final 4 minutes of the game was that Clemson-McNeese State game.
Oh, yeah.
McNeese was up big. I think it was like 7 minutes ago they were up 20, and that ended up being a 2-point game. And Clemson made a hell of a comeback. But you're just sitting there watching it and going, "Wow, this is what March Madness is all about." You're just sitting there glued to it, going, "Oh, here comes the comeback, here comes the miracle," and that is, I was rooting for McNeese State because we mentioned it earlier, when you don't have a dog or a horse in the race, you tend to go for the underdog. But then when the favorite is making such a huge comeback, your emotions kind of switch, going, "Oh, this would be fun to watch." Right? It's
the beauty of these 2 days, dude.
Yes.
It like the joy of the agony of defeat, the joy of victory, that the thrill of victory. It's palpable these couple of days, man. Travis, I would imagine somewhere in the nation people were doing that same thing last night watching Drake.
Absolutely.
People were watching Missouri come back and going, "Oh, yeah, a couple more threes. We're going to get us a barn burner." Not everybody does it, especially in an 11-6 matchup. I think that a lot of people look at those as closer than the 12-5s, or you know what I mean? So there were a lot of people doing that last night to Missouri what you were doing for Clemson. Like, oh, not that I'm rooting for them, but make it a game.
Yeah, make it a game. I think that's what we want. We had our office party yesterday. We had a March Madness party at the office, and I'm just sitting there going, "God, there's been no good games." And then all of a sudden, that's when Clemson started going on that roll. I go, "Okay, finally we have something to watch." Because a lot of Creighton looked really good yesterday. Yeah. Greg McDermott, that team has the possibility of getting Auburn some troubles. I mean, that's gonna be a fun game to watch. Auburn and Creighton.
Dude, the one that jumped out to me that I guess I didn't realize when I saw the bracket, Gonzaga being an 8 seed. Congratulations, Houston. You get to be a 1 seed. You get to play Gonzaga in the second round.
That's probably the most difficult part about the number 1 seed is that second round you play an 8 or 9, which are those traditionally just good teams.
Yeah.
Just weren't great the entire year.
Yep.
That's where your number 1 seeds can really get upset is in that second round is with those 8-9 games. Kansas got beat yesterday by Arkansas. What a disappointing year,
dude,
for Kansas and Bill Self.
Preseason number 1 team in the country.
Loaded with talent and just fell way, way short of expectations.
We should use this as one of those examples, Trav, of how success is not guaranteed. There's a formula to it. And, man, you can match up that formula 8 of the 9 steps, and it doesn't work out. And Bill Self would be in that situation. That's one of the best jobs in the country. He's loaded with all the talent. He's got tons of NIL. He can get any player he wants to come there. And is a great coach that we've seen coach up talent and work with egos, develop stuff very quickly. I mean, even in January, we're like, well, yeah, but it's Kansas. Nobody wants to mess with Kansas in March.
I fell into that. I was saying
we both said it. We both said it, and it turned out, yeah, he never got it figured out. He never got him to go in the same direction.
And that's the danger of the portal, right? And that is, you can go pay a lot of guys a lot of money. Hunter Dickinson got a lot of money, racked up some stats. Did Hunter Dickinson really make a difference for KU? Not like they thought he was going to. Sure, he put up numbers.
But that's not it. The difference that you needed was here. This is where you were going. And that's the unfair part of college basketball that we've talked about. Coaches are always judged on March. Players are going to be judged on March. Did you make Kansas a better team? No.
Kansas has been on a decline since winning the national title in 2022. Now, Bill Self's job is not in danger.
No.
But that's a fishbowl of a program, too. And they will not be patient.
And another example of the NIL thing not having the impact that people thought it would. It wasn't up. The rich are going to get richer. Kansas is just going to get better and stretch it away from everybody else. No, the money ruined it. They quit trying to build the chemistry, and they thought, okay, well, we'll just go for salaries. Who's the guy that wants the most money? He must be the best player. We'll bring him in. Doesn't fit your system. That's all right because he's great. It's Hunter Dickinson.
Everybody wanted him.
Don't we want him? Yeah. Pay the money for him. Okay, all right. And then you end up with Cade McNamara. You end up with who's the kid from Ohio State that was going to be the receiver that was going to change Iowa's offense. They were going to be amazing because they got the 5-star kid from Ohio State that was just going to be Caleb Brown. Where?
Bill Self said something yesterday after the game when he looks at the portal. He goes, maybe I need to take a different approach, and that is look for the under-the-radar, high-value kids. Ding,
really?
ding, 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 ding.
Really? Don't just go out and say, hey, show me the portal price list, and I want the guy that's at the top. I want Cade McNamara. Because he's going to be the guy that's going to save this program because he's the guy that's the most expensive. He's the girl with the curl. He's the one everybody wants. I want him. We know this too, man. It just like with the Missouri Valley conversation. These old adages, they win. We can look at all this and we can go, look, hey, Kansas, see how spending money didn't work for you? What's Kansas going to do in this offseason? Are they going to spend more money? More money. Hey, NCAA tournament, you guys should look at the Missouri Valley. They're 13-4 in the first round games. They're 10-6 against the SEC. What's going to happen next fall? Missouri Valley is going to be a one-bid league. We'll spend December and January going, golly, it doesn't seem fair.
Well, it's a repeated conversation. Now, Ross, when it comes to money, would you say a program like Kansas, a Carolina, some of these teams that is well known they have a big NIL budget hurts them too because you have players going, I know what you guys have.
Yes. Yes, I do, Travis.
And so you're kind of forced to pay. Like, I know you guys have money, so if you want me, pay me.
Because I'm getting that offer someplace else. If I'm getting the money someplace else, they're showing up with commas, multiple commas in a figure to say, hey, you want to play basketball for us? And your pitch to me is, we're going to do it the right way.
Chris asked a question on our YouTube chat, and he says, do older coaches struggle with NIL in the portal? And the answer is, I think they struggle. And let me try. I think when you look at Tony Bennett, I really believe he struggled with the idea of the portal and having to change the way you recruit and the way you build a team. I think Jay Wright at Villanova got out at the right time and said, you know what? I don't know if I'm built for this. This is
Fran McCaffrey. Fran McCaffrey is an older coach that isn't built for the NIL stuff.
And even Steve Alford, who you think would be good in this, and I know that's like PTSD for a lot of Iowa fans.
The guy makes me laugh, man. He's a clown.
But he even said it's just weird when the first question to recruit is how much you paying me. It's not what else can you offer. The first question now is, well, what am I going to get paid?
Yeah,
and I do think a lot of older coaches struggle with that.
Yes.
I will. I'm 50, I'm going to be 55. If I was a head basketball coach and worked a certain way for 20 years, I would struggle with it.
Dude, that's it. And that's the thing we were just talking about. We get stuck in our ways. And even when new information shows up and says, hey, you can improve this process by doing it this way, we don't do it. We go back to the ways that everybody tells us it's supposed to be done, like bringing in the highest dollar guy, and he's going to fix everything wrong with your team. Do older coaches struggle with the NIL and portal? Yes, but no. Not all older coaches. Look at Rick Pitino. Might be the oldest guy in divisional coaching.
He's been working that way his entire career.
And you just nailed it, Travis. Why does Jay Wright, why does Fran McCaffrey, why do these guys look around and go, man, this ain't the world I want to coach in? Because it's not the world they've coached in. Why is Rick Pitino so comfortable in this world where we're paying players? Oh, because he's always lived in that world. It's how he's always coached. Do older coaches struggle with the NIL and the portal? What I would say is there's got to be a better word for it than older coaches, because that doesn't cover it. It's got to be more like old school. Do guys that have that mentality are struggling to make that switch? Kansas has been playing players since the 50s. They don't care. This is no change for them. Pitino's been playing players since the 80s. This is not a new thing for him.
He took Providence to the Final Four.
None of those recruits came because of those strippers.
None whatsoever. So, yeah, if you're idealistic, if you're, dare I use this word, have morals, you probably
it's hard.
You probably struggle.
And again, I'm not going to sit here and pump up Fran McCaffrey, but that's how it is. That's Fran was in his old ways, and I don't want to do this. I don't want to have conversations where the first thing is, hey, how much am I going to make? I get that. I think that that's wrong. I think that those coaches that look at it that way, again, you lived in this world where you got brainwashed, and now you're just repeating those things, because I guarantee you when you went to Iowa, one of your first questions was, what's my salary?
How much
I love
you paying
this job,
me?
and I want to do a Big Ten job, and I want to have a Power 5 job, but I ain't doing it for like $200,000. How much you paying me? And that's the same. Now, we've just allowed those kids into that conversation. Hey, cool, yeah, I want to be a Division I basketball player. How much you paying me? Unbelievable! The kid wants money!
I do, and maybe I am, and because we talked about it earlier in the week, relationships make the world go around, right?
Yes.
And I do believe what they don't like about the portal and the way it is that the relationship isn't built first. I don't think they have a problem paying players. I just feel the being able to make a connection and having to recruit a kid not once, but like every single year, so you're not always chasing the dollar, and building a relationship is really what they, because I do believe coaches like the relationships they have with
no
their
doubt.
players.
And again, that's what, if you're going to win, like what we've seen with Bill Self, you've got to have all of that stuff too. You're better off having the chemistry of a Drake than having the payroll of a Kansas. And if you don't have the chemistry, the payroll doesn't matter. Your payroll can be as high as you want. Chemistry's not there, toast. Payroll can be as low as possible. If chemistry's there, you're going to win.
And we heard Darren DeVries talk about that. When he was introduced at Indiana, he goes, I got to build a team, and we have the resources to do it, but first and foremost, I got to make sure the team I build can play together as a team.
Ben McCollum. That's what
Yes.
Ben McCollum has said to us, too. Why are you playing the style of basketball? Because that's how my team is built. Because I'm looking around and I see this is the way that this group of guys is going to be successful.
I'm curious. I think it was on Tuesday or Wednesday. We did the AI bracket. You just hit AI, fill it out.
Yeah, got
fill
it up still.
So how did AI do in the first day of the NCAA basketball tournament?
I believe Travis 13 of 16 in the first day. Missed UCSD over Michigan. The AI picked that game and missed it. Let's see. Trying to find another one here.
Because it picked Drake, right?
It had Drake. It had Arkansas beating Kansas. It had Clemson beating McNeese State. So there's one
it
it
missed
lost.
that one.
It had Georgia beating Gonzaga. That's it. That was the only things it missed. Other than that, perfect the rest of the way through. St. Mary's beat Vanderbilt, right?
Is that today or was that yesterday?
I guess I don't know about that one.
You know,
Like
3 losses, that seems pretty normal, right?
Yeah, 13-3 is pretty good.
But what I'm saying is I think you probably could have done that without AI's help.
I wouldn't have gone 13-3. I'd have gone 7-9, something like that. What I would have done.
Besides Iowa State, any games interest you today?
Iowa State obviously is the primary one. Let me go to the actual schedule today and see what time things are kicking off and tipping off. Let's see. We will get things started today.
Baylor and Mississippi State.
Okay, that'll be a fun one. I like that 8-9 matchups to get the day started, man. You get a pretty good game to get out of the gate. That's 11:15 on CBS. Then you got a couple of not so great matchups, a lot of 16, 15, 14 seeds. I mean, really, Trav, it's the Iowa State game on TNT. Tipping off at 12:30. I'll be glued to that. Any of these games tonight jump out at you?
I think the Xavier, Illinois might be pretty good. Depends on what Illinois team shows up. But no, I think the Iowa State game, and thank God it's at 12:30 today, is like the only game that really interests me.
There will be one. Again, the text group will fire up at some point, and they'll say, oh, my God, turn on North Carolina, Ole Miss. Turn on Grand Canyon and Maryland.
Yeah, I don't see, just looking at the schedule, I don't really see like one, oh, my God, here's my – I had some good upset alert yesterday.
Yeah, you missed on it. Told all of us to watch out for High Point, and then they went out and
if you go back and listen, I said it would be a good. I thought it was a good game,
and they did. They played pretty really well.
Yeah, North Carolina Ole Miss could be a fun game to watch. That's at 3:05 today.
Yeah,
and maybe even Grand Canyon in Maryland, but nothing else trips my trigger by any means.
A lot of Big Ten action tonight, man. I'll tell you that. A lot of Big Ten teams in action.
Oh.
None of them move I don't see any game on that schedule that I'm like, oh, yeah. I've seen Michigan State. I've seen Oregon. I've seen Illinois.
Yeah, it's one of the goes, oh, I might be able to go out on a Friday night. Ross, I'm curious on over here in my neck of the woods, open this weekend was a brand new sports bar.
Okay.
and they're only going to show women's sports in it. Do you think that makes it?
No.
I'm kind of with you. My wife looked at me last night and said, "What do you think of this?" We have some friends that are some investors, and I'm like, that's a hard sell. It's not that they're not going to have men's sports on, but it's predominantly, most of them are going to be all women's sports. And I'm like, okay. I get the idea of trying, right? I mean, they did a crowdfunding. They raised $100,000 crowdfunding, saying, "Hey, this is a new concept. It's a sports bar for women's sports only." And I'm not being anti-women's sports here. I'm like,
no, but Travis, what? I'm going to get philosophical here for a reason. I thought we were working towards inclusivity. I thought we were working towards a thing of, hey, we don't care about your color. We don't care about your gender. You're a good athlete? Sure. Come on, man. Because we like sports.
Sports is sports.
It felt like these last couple of years we were inching and inching closer and closer to that idea of like, hey, is it good sports? Is it entertaining? Because we'll watch it and we'll cheer for it and we'll support it if it's entertaining and athletic. That's what we're interested in is sports. And if
I love volleyball and great women's basketball.
Oh, I mean, yeah, those two things, Travis. Both of those things have been successful, and they're not successful because, like, you can look at the volleyball and go, well, they're dressed in those little tiny bun huggers. No, it's more than that. It's the crazy athleticism that happens in volleyball. Because you can look at like the lingerie football league. That's not a hit. And is that the type of women's sports that you're going to be playing at your women's sports bar? I would imagine not. I'd imagine you're not doing lingerie football league because your audience is not there to see the scantily clad woman.
Well, let's use Justin Miller last year when he was going to a bar out in Altoona, and he wanted to watch, I think it was an NFL game, right? And they had the NFL on the tiny, tiny screens, but they had Caitlin Clark on the big screens because that's what people wanted. They wanted to watch Caitlin Clark. If I go into this bar tonight and they have a women's basketball game on and on the big, big screens of teams that I'm not interested in over the Iowa State game this afternoon or whatever, you're like, I don't want to watch this. It's an interesting concept.
It's an interesting concept. It's one that seems to,
you never know until you try.
Everybody's special, man.
You never know unless you try. It's just a really big investment to try on.
It seems like a stupid idea. And I'm not, and again, not because it's because I don't like women's sports or because there's not enough passion around women's sports. No, you're excluding people. We're going to do this for just the girls. Okay. All right, cool. So you don't want me there. No, we didn't say that. We just said that this is only for the women. Got it.
Speaking of women's sports, Iowa State's going to be in action against Michigan today, a 10:30 game this morning in South Bend. Yeah. I mean, do you want to go against the men's games?
No. I mean, no, you don't. But
you don't.
But again, Trav, I didn't even know that was so far off my radar. I didn't even realize it till you said it.
And then, of course, Iowa's going to be down in Norman, Oklahoma tomorrow for its first-round game. If they win, pretty good chance they'll take on the Oklahoma Sooners, and Jenny Bronchek will get to coach against her former team. And that's a cool storyline.
Yeah. I mean, I think most people in Iowa still, you're keeping an eye on Jenny Bronchek. That's a name that we won't forget. She brought Drake women's basketball to serious prominence.
Now, I don't think I'm going out on a limb here. And you tell me if I'm smoking crack or it's just because of where we're located.
You've said that a couple times today. I think it should be noted you've never smoked crack.
I've never smoked crack, ever. But But last year leading into the women's tournament, you had the Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark storyline that dominated a lot of things. I don't see that this year.
Oh, no. No, nowhere near.
And you have really good players, Paige Beckers, Juju Watkins. You have really good teams. You have really good athletes. But it just doesn't seem like the needle has moved. Actually, I would say it's ticked back.
Oh, way back, dude. Way back. And I don't think this is an Iowa perspective thing that I'm experiencing here. Last year, the women's basketball tournament was a huge event.
Massive.
It's not on the radar this year. Man, Caitlin Clark is that magnet. More people are talking about WNBA preseason games than are talking about the NCAA tournament. In my world, in my atmosphere, more people are excited about the Fever coming to Iowa to play the Brazil national team. I've seen the promos for the Fever season tickets. I know how many Fever games are going to be on national television this year. I didn't know Iowa State had a game today.
That says something.
I saw a promo last night for the Fever of 41 games on national TV and broke it all down. This many games are going to be on ESPN2. This many games are on, you can find these games on these streaming services. That stuff's getting into my world. But hey, by the way, the team that you root for is getting ready to go in action. That is not.
Did you know Iowa played tomorrow?
No. Nope, I didn't. Here's how I would have found that out. My buddy Ed, who's a huge Hawkeye women's basketball fan, he always sends things in our group chat, like getting ready for tip-off. And this year, most of the time, it's been like, oh, yeah, the Iowa women are playing. Last year, I had phone calls 2 days before from my dad saying, all right, what are you bringing over at 6 o'clock when Caitlin plays? Because we're having a family get-together and a family gathering for a regular season game because Caitlin's going to be on TV. That hasn't happened once this year for women's basketball. To say the needle has ticked back, Travis, it hasn't gone back to pre-Caitlin Clark days.
No.
But it's ticked back a lot.
And it shows you the impact she has on sports.
It's wild, dude. I did not anticipate this staying power with this thing. She's
incredible.
Really, really amazing. Yep. Impressive, incredible, whatever word you want to put on it, man. She's lived up to it, and it's really neat to see.
All right, that's going to wrap up today's show. Wow. Hope you enjoyed it. The 2 hours flew on by. Don't forget, Drake's going to be in action tomorrow, taking on Texas Tech. Iowa State in action this afternoon, taking on Lipscomb. Full day of NCAA tournament action. We want you to enjoy your weekend and come back with us. Join us Monday at 6 a.m. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
Is something in your attic keeping you up at night? Don't let unwanted guests take over your home. With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's trusted expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly wildlife solutions at a fair price. We safely remove bats, squirrels, raccoons, birds, and more so you can sleep soundly again. For a free estimate, call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage & Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage & Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage & Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah. Make way for the Natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Spring is coming up, and it's a time for cleaning and renewal. Get your spring cleaning started early with the fuel induction service from Land Rover Des Moines. This service cleans out carbon buildup and other deposits from the fuel injectors, intake valves, and combustion chambers. This service can improve fuel efficiency, performance, and power to make sure your Land Rover is ready for spring and summer travel. Right now, we are offering 10% off a fuel induction service, so give us a call or head online to LandRoverDesMoines.com.